For a ball that is clearly above net height, you must contact it more from behind to drive it forward. But remember, for a ball below the net, your racket must always be lower than the ball to lift it. Today, let's talk about the serve and attack. First, let's address why you often hit the net when you try to attack after your serve. It's because your serve has too much spin, you're trying too hard to generate heavy backspin. Your opponent can use your own heavy spin, sending it back to you. When you try to attack this return, you're essentially fighting your own spin, which causes you to hit the net. So, you need to know which serves are best for setting up an attack, especially if you want to set up a power loop. I will always serve a low spin or no spin ball. This often forces a push return, giving me the perfect opportunity to loop. Some players worry, if I serve no spin, my opponent will just attack it. They can attack it not because it's no spin, but because your serve is too long and too high. If you serve a no spin ball that's low, it's very difficult to attack because the ball will be dropping by the time they reach it. If your short serves get attacked, it's because they're too high. A truly low ball is almost impossible to attack aggressively. Serving sidespin topspin is not ideal for a third ball attack because the ball kicks upwards, giving your opponent an easy high point to hit. Once they get used to it and anticipate well, they can attack your sidespin topspin serve easily. The ideal serve for setting up an attack is a half spin or no spin ball. Look at Fan Zhendong. He often uses a short high toss to serve a soft ball, which prevents the opponent from generating power. Therefore, even in world-class men's matches, using a short semi-spin or no-spin serve to set up a third ball attack is a common tactic, as this type of serve also restricts the quality of the opponent's backhand banana flick. If your opponent consistently attacks or push blocks your serve aggressively, it's simply because your serve quality is too low. The second key point is your recovery after the serve. Many amateurs make the mistake of watching to see if their serve was effective. The correct way is to execute the serve and immediately get back into your ready position. However, some amateurs, trying to be fast, start recovering before they've even finished their service motion. I don't recommend this, as it will compromise your serve spin and consistency. The only time a quicker recovery is necessary is when you're serving a surprise fast, long ball. But for short serves, you must complete the motion, ensuring control over the trajectory and placement, before you recover. Do you ever feel like your individual skills are good, but you're always a step slow in a real match? It's because there's a slight hesitation between your actions. You pause after the serve, pause after recovering, and your footwork is choppy, not fluid. Watch the pros. They maintain a very active and compact stance. Without this state of readiness, you can't keep up with the ball's pace. You will always feel like the ball is faster than you. You can't wait for the ball to come to you. Your racket and your feet must move to the ball. After I serve, my hands and feet must move to create the optimal hitting position. For instance, if I serve a surprise long ball to their forehand, my body and racket are already in position before the return even comes back. But you're waiting until the ball is almost on you before moving. Even a professional player can't reach the ball like that. The gap between practice and match performance is that in practice you get easy balls, but in a match, your opponent attacks your weak spots with difficult placement. Therefore, your physical and mental state must be fully engaged and agile. After a long serve, for example, you must recover instantly. Don't get caught standing still. Your body needs to move immediately to cover the return. When the ball comes back, whether you make the shot or not, your first priority is to get your body low and in position to cover the ball. It's the same for a short forehand serve. I must proactively move to the ball after serving. In the beginning, it doesn't matter if you can't generate power or even make the shot. This will come with practice. Even if your ability is limited now, the key is to focus on finding the correct contact point first. First, move to the ball. Let your body and hand get in position to control it. Once you find the contact point, a lack of power is just a matter of strength, which will improve over time and allow you to hit great shots. For a forehand return, even if my footwork isn't perfect, I see where the ball is going and I move my body in that direction first. If the angle is wide, I'll stretch for it. If it's closer to the middle, I can adjust to create space for my loop. Nobody has perfect footwork 100% of the time. It's impossible. You have to learn to adjust using your center of gravity. If the ball is short and I'm caught deep, I can move forward as I execute the loop. If the ball is long and jams me, I'll execute a high, loopy topspin to regain position. For a ball to my forehand side, I'll load my weight on my right leg to loop. For a ball to the middle, I'll pivot on my left leg to loop. Remember these adjustments: if it's short, move in as you loop. If you're jammed, loop high. For a wide forehand, load the right leg. For a middle ball, use the left leg. This is extremely important. Let me share how I developed this skill. When you start, stick to practicing with just one type of serve spin. Don't switch between spin and no spin, you'll just confuse yourself. Let's say you want to attack backspin returns all over the table but you're too slow. Fixed point drills won't help, so what do? Start with a full table push drill. After your serve, no matter where your partner pushes, you just push it back. The goal is to control the rhythm and get comfortable with the movement. Focus on reading the left-right placement. The push is a small, simple stroke, so use it to find your positioning and timing. Once you feel comfortable with that, progress to a slow, spinny loop, letting the ball drop a bit. After your serve, wait for the ball to drop slightly and execute a spinny loop. No power loops yet. No matter the placement, just focus on consistently looping the ball back with a slow, high spin arc. Once you can consistently loop the ball from anywhere and your contact point is solid, you can start incorporating the power loop you've been practicing. Serve, get in position, and execute a power loop. Wait for the right moment, then commit. That's the progression. This is an excellent step-by-step method. The same principle applies to topspin rallies. After my long serve, the first goal is just to be able to block the return. On the forehand side, don't freeze up. Even if it's just a simple block, you're finding the correct contact point. Follow this sequence: first learn to block, then incorporate the full stroke, and only then add power. Even for pros, developing power takes years. Everyone should start by simply making contact and not missing the ball. Then, transition to using a stroke. Step 1 is to block. Step 2 is to use a controlled stroke. And step 3 is to add power for a loop drive. The most important thing is to build confidence, because the serve and attack is an offense that you initiate. If your opponent misses the serve, that's great. But if they return it and you have a follow-up attack, your level is definitely above 1800. Short ball. Long ball. You must become a keen observer. As your opponent prepares to return, their backswing will tell you if they plan to attack or just push. You have to be good at reading your opponent. The earlier you read their intention, the more time you have to prepare. If my read is slow, my loop will be rushed. If my read is fast, I'll have plenty of time for a powerful shot. So, to make your serve and attack fluid, you must read your opponent. Accurate anticipation gives you more time, effectively turning a random return into a fixed point drill. This includes judging depth and height. As a rule, for any ball below net height, your racket must start from a position lower than the ball. For example, to lift a low backspin push, my backswing must be below the ball to create the necessary arc. If my racket is at the same height as the ball, I'm likely to hit it into the net. For a ball that is clearly above net height, you must contact it more from behind to drive it forward. But remember, for a ball below the net, your racket must always be lower than the ball to lift it. So after your serve, watch the return. If it's low, get your body down. If it's a high push, get your racket up. When I say get below the ball, it's for a return with a downward trajectory. Your backswing must start lower than the ball's position. If the ball is above the net with a flat or rising trajectory, your backswing can be at the same height, allowing you to drive straight through it. My coaching philosophy emphasizes perfecting your preparation. The actual shot will come naturally if the setup is right. Most missed shots are due to poor preparation. Next, let's talk about timing and adjusting to the speed of the return. Against a fast push from your opponent, the faster the ball, the more compact your backswing should be. A compact swing means you don't take your arm too far back. For me, this doesn't count as a big backswing. It's not that you only avoid a backswing by keeping the racket in the standard forehand drive position. As long as I'm not flailing my arm backward and I keep the movement within a controlled range, it's considered compact and not pulling back. A big swing backwards is what we want to avoid on fast balls. On a slow ball, you can take a bigger backswing. But remember, a shot you can make easily in practice might fail you at 9-9 in a match. Therefore, the best way to reduce unforced errors is to use a compact swing, even on a seemingly easy ball. By keeping your swing compact, your error rate will drop significantly. A compact swing prevents you from getting jammed by the ball and allows for more focused, efficient spin generation. So, when is it okay to take a bigger swing? You can do it when you have a big lead, when you're far behind and need to take a risk, or when there's a handsome guy watching you play and you want to show off your skills. A compact loop can feel a bit reserved. A bigger swing aims for higher quality, but remember, it's not a requirement for an effective shot. In amateur matches, you rarely see aggressive long pushes. Returns are typically softer and a bit high. These are actually the most dangerous balls. They look like an opportunity, but they're a trap. You'll see this often on the backhand side. You try to attack, but it goes in the net because the ball is slow and has very little spin. To handle these balls consistently, you must focus on tracking the ball as you loop. What I mean by tracking the ball is that you shouldn't take your racket too far behind your body during the backswing. I teach a backswing that goes behind the body only when you intend to generate maximum power. When you aren't looking for power or the opportunity isn't great, just eye the ball and avoid an oversized backswing. Simply line the racket up with the ball and complete the stroke. Not every ball will give you perfect timing. When the timing is off, staying closer to the ball will dramatically increase your consistency. For most amateurs, the timing is often imperfect, so this more compact loop is a much safer shot. The moment you sense a difficult or imperfect opportunity, switch to this compact loop. Your backswing should start near your right knee for this shot. If the opportunity is perfect, take a full backswing. If it's not, keep your swing compact, starting from the right knee. This will make you much more consistent. Amateur table tennis is about who can keep one more ball on the table. Even a high push from you might not be attacked successfully by your opponent. For players under the 1800 level, reducing your own errors is the surest way to win more matches.